The migration journey. How do we get this going? There are these phases that I mentioned: connect to the cloud, move at your own pace, and we will go through these phases in a second and look at all the steps that are involved there. The first phase is connect to the cloud. We want to go to the cloud, so connecting the existing on-premises system with the cloud should be the first step for any successful transition. What I'm thinking here is gaining insights into the existing installation using Cloud Connected UC. How many of you have implemented Cloud Connected UC on your UCM systems? Very few. All right, some.
That's not the sort of DI.
DI is a different story. I'm not talking about WebEx calling DI here at all. Whenever I should have said that in the beginning, sorry. Whenever I say WebEx calling, I mean the actual cloud solution WebEx calling multi-tenant, right? I'm not talking about hosted UCM WebEx calling dedicated instance, right? So this getting insights using Cloud Connect UC helps you to get insights in terms of migration readiness, trying to figure out, am I actually ready to make the move, right? Am I ready to move from UCM to WebEx calling multi-tenant? So what you can do is, first step, what you need to do is create your organization in Control Hub that has to exist. Establish the connectivity between your org in Control Hub and your on-prem UCM using Cloud Connected UC. And then you can use Cloud Connect UC for stuff like inventory assessment, looking at integrations. And you could also already start the grouping assessment. We will talk about the grouping in more details later. That's discovery, right? Cloud Connect UC is this thing that creates this link between the cloud part of WebEx and your on-premise system, and allows you to get insights into all your on-premises components, and functionality of Cloud Connect UC includes troubleshooting. You have operations dashboards and so on, right? For the insights, discovery options, we need to look at various options we have to get data out of UCM. The first one is config export, right? There's a specific option in UCM, hopefully you've all seen this, I guess. In the bulk administration menu, there's this import export option, then you can do a config export. And there you can select the tables that you want to get out of UCM. And if you do a full export, it gets you a tar file, which I think 170 odd CSV files in there, each CSV file more or less presenting one table in the Informix database of UCM. That's not quite true, but more or less. Every entity that's configured in UCM is reflected in one of those CSV files. Then the next option that exists is we have in the updates and migrations section in Control Hub right here, there's a bunch of tools, and there's this tool, the Migration Insights tool. Okay? The Migration Insights tool consumes this config export that I just mentioned, this tar file. You upload this to Control Hub, and then this tool analyzes this tar file, this config export, and allows you to get some insights into the existing configuration. Optionally, you can also dump call detail record information into this tool. That's basically, those would be CDR files that are SFTP'd to an FTP server by the UCM repository manager, right? Basically the typical CDR target of existing UCM installations. Why is that important? If you import CDR data, you can not only do a static analysis, you can also do a dynamic analysis and see which DNs are actually still used. Is there stuff like certain features that are not used anymore, right? That you don't get if you only look at the existing configuration, right? You need dynamic data, you need insights into what's actually happening in UCM. Anyways, The Migration Insights tool, then, this is how it works. You dump your data in there, and then you get these insights. When we look at the high level, at the insights options that exist, we do have Excel. Excel is the administrative XML layer. How many of you are aware of this thing? This good friend of ours? That's basically the API layer that allows you and enables you to interact programmatically with Communications Manager configuration, right? The coverage here is the best because all features can be read either using thin Excel. It's interesting. There's an interesting typo here that I never actually realized. There's think Excel. So there's think Excel and stupid Excel. No, what it's meant to be is thin or thick Excel, right? So thin Excel means you can actually execute SQL statements against the Informix database, and thick Excel means you're using a wrapper that basically allows object-based access, right? That's programmatic, it's very flexible, and hard to use as everything as soon as APIs come into play. Then we have BAT, the bulk administration tool. Very little coverage because BAT is essentially only meant to be used for provisioning, so getting data into UCM and not getting out, right? Then we have Migration Insights, that's the tool that I just mentioned. Then we have the config export. Technically, you could use the config export, that tar file, uncompress it, and look out at the CSV files manually. Technically, that's possible. In reality, it can be really, really painful because some of these CSVs are really, really hard to analyze. And then there's third-party tools. And I will mention third-party tools again and again during the session. There are very, very sophisticated third-party tools that support migrations from Communications Manager to WebEx calling multi-tenant. And in this case, they are really, really capable of giving great insights into existing UCM configuration. And I will name a few of those third-party tools later in this session.